All about Leicas. Not like I'm an expert or anything. um, anyway, I thought maybe I would do some videos on Leica rangefinders. I kind of got into, I always wanted one. I mean, I've been shooting since I was 13, and I'm 48 now. I've kind of always wanted a Leica, and only recently have I actually gotten into it. I started with an M8, which I bought used. And after shooting the M8 for a while, I thought, gosh, I ought to try the film experience and see how that goes. So this is a Leica M2 that I purchased pretty recently. And this one's in really good shape. I got it at a local camera store. It was built in 1958. These are the flash synchronization ports. Film wind. This is the rewind knob. They didn't go to a winder lever until later in the next generation, actually, the M4. The film counter, it's external, and you can just flick it around by hand, so you reset this when you load new film in it. Shutter speed's up to 1,000th of a second, down to 1 second. It takes any M mount lens and any screw mount lens with an M adapter. Right now I've got a Voigtlander 35 1.4 on it. So this is a pretty fast lens, and it's nice and compact. That's one thing I like about this lens. So it goes well on this, and it fits well in this bag when this lens is mounted. This is a really great focal length to shoot on a film camera, because it's full frame. Film, you know, by definition is full frame. 35 works out really great on it. And what else can I say about this guy? This is the simpler version. I think it's an earlier version of M2. It doesn't have a self-timer, which would normally be here. The later ones also had a lever rewind. This one has a button rewind. And this over here allows you to change the frame lines that are shown in the viewfinder while you're looking through with any lens, so you can sort of get a preview of what a different focal length might look like were you to mount it. So that's a pretty nice feature. Strangely, these cameras, well, maybe it's not strange to Leica, it's strange to people who are used to the way most 35mm load. This camera's back doesn't swing open like on an SLR. The bottom plate comes off, and you load the film in the bottom plate, so the camera has a lot of structural rigidity. It is very, very solid. What does happen is this door swings open, so that when you load the film from the bottom, you can see whether the sprockets have engaged the film inside while you're winding a frame or two on. It's a little fiddly, but I think once you get used to it, it's okay. I'm still kind of practicing at it, so it takes me a little while. The camera, I'm going to burn a couple of shots here just so you can hear. I have film in it, otherwise I would open it up. I'll burn a couple of shots just so you can hear what this sounds like. That's it. That's the shutter sound. That is so nice compared to an M8 or to an SLR, for that matter. An SLR has a mirror flipping around inside of it that creates a lot of commotion. So this is just amazingly quiet by comparison, and the operation of the film advance is just so smooth and quiet. And this camera is, what are we talking about here? It's 40-some years old, or 50-some years old, what am I saying? And it still handles like this. That's just amazing to me. And we'll see how good the pictures are. This is actually the second roll that I've put in it, and I just have taken my first roll in for processing. I shot some plus X on it, and that reminds me, one thing it doesn't have is an internal meter, and certainly no automated features like auto exposure or anything like that. So when you meter, you're basically metering with your brain or with an external light meter. I use what's called the Sunny 16 rule, which says in strong sunlight outdoors, set your aperture on 16 and your shutter speed will be whatever your film speed is. So I have plus X loaded, so I'll have my shutter speed set at 125. That's to start. Obviously you can open your lens up a stop and speed up your shutter a stop, and do that as many times as you want within the capabilities of the camera, and that gives you your exposure variance that you might want to have. Then if it's cloudy, you'd again sort of mentally you would do this, start at 125/16. Oh, I'm going to drop it down 2 stops just for the cloudiness, and again now you can say, oh, I really want to shoot at 5.6, so I'm going to speed my shutter up a notch. So anyway, it's a really beautiful camera. It handles beautifully. This one is not perfect, but it sure is nice. It's got a slight dent here and a little bit of the covering missing right here, but the previous owner looks like he painted it in. So it actually, it's a 1 foot camera, meaning it looks near from a foot away. It's very nice.